Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I wasn't very prepared to tell a story tonight, but I hope you bear with me. I thought of something, and I hope I give it justice, because it's a very personal story in my life, and something that I hope everyone can kind of relate to. It was at the height of the Civil War, and like many other families, we got the opportunity to migrate to other countries. And my grandfather had a green card, so we were lucky enough to inherit that and make our way to the US. So the story is about transitioning and sort of blending into this new environment and not losing your mind in the process of that. So just as a little background, we grew up in Beirut, and I was in elementary school at the time. I was 10 years old. And elementary school then was very simple. I felt like a celebrity. I knew everybody. I had a lot of friends, proud parents. Teachers really liked me. I mean, for me, I had it made. But in general, in Beirut then, if anyone was here during the war, it was not an easy time. But for some reason, in the midst of all of this, we were really, really, really happy. It was a community. People helped each other. I mean, we had walkie-talkies, but still, people were really, really happy. We felt like it was part of community. And moving was the farthest thing from my mind. So my father was fed up with living here, and he wanted to take us back to, a peaceful place where we can grow up normally. So he announced that we'd be moving to Orlando, Florida. So I said, what? And then he said, we're moving to Disney World. And then I was like, great, this is awesome. We're gonna move to Disney. So off we went, and I'll skip the morning where we left to go to the airport. It was actually the worst recorded day of the fighting. And we made it to Damascus, and then we flew to America. And we'd spent the summers there, so I didn't think it was gonna be something very alien. I thought it would be something that we'd get used to right away, and to my surprise, I didn't. So we're in Orlando, and we are living in this beautiful residential neighborhood that was groomed, tree-lined streets, long driveways, big backyards, a swimming pool with water. I mean, everything was just very, very, very different. And it was kind of like a fantasy world. It was like walking into a set of a movie that we were watching on TV. So I didn't know how to feel about it yet until school started. And we kind of all know what school is like. Growing up, you get bullied, you get marginalized, but nothing could have prepared me to what happened next. I mean, there was not one incident that happened that was difficult. It was just all of it. It was a new environment. And I mean, the school welcomed me, and while getting registered, for some reason, they registered me like a grade above where I was supposed to be. And I was a small girl, and I was short, and I didn't blend in any way, shape, or form, let alone being 2 grades or a grade and a half above my grade. So it was not a very easy time, and but somehow you try to manage. So I tried to blend in, and it was just, I don't know where to start to tell stories of bullying. I mean, years later they were funny to talk about, to tell people over dinner and just laugh, but now it just seems too serious to talk about them. So in the midst of trying to disappear and not seem like I was there, one day, 6 months after moving there, I was called up to the principal's office. And you know, I mean, you get called into the principal's office, it's just not a good sign. And I freaked out, you know, what the hell's going on? So I go to the principal's office, and as I'm sitting there were 3 other children or students sitting there, and I just wanted them to tell us what was going on so I can get out of there at the quickest time possible. So the principal announced that we were shortlisted for this competition, and it was called the Distinguished Award of Disney's Dreamer and Doer Award, and we were one of 4 of us will be the next Dreamer and Doer. And I was like, what the hell is that? You know, I had no idea what that was, but apparently that's a really big deal. It was like the Oscars of every Florida county, you know, event every year. So, but what we had to do is write an essay, and then based on that essay, one of us wins. I mean, at this point, I could really care less what that thing was. I mean, again, I just wanted to leave. So we sat there, and each one of us wrote an essay. And the essay, the question was, talk about your experience, your worst experience, or like a big moment in your life that you'd like to share. So the last moment I remember is escaping from Lebanon during a time of war and moving to Disney World. So I wrote about that, and I wrote about dodging bullets and bombs and all of this. I mean, normal stuff to me at the time. Like, I didn't think that there was anything significant to what I was talking about. So I finished my essay, turned it in, and I ran out, you know, hoping that no one will ever get in touch with me again. So I leave, and then about 1 week later, my dad's dropping me off at school, and as we're pulling up, there's this gigantic, mind you, I'm trying to disappear, like I'm trying not to exist. As we're pulling up, there's this gigantic banner on the front of the middle school that had, congratulations, my full name, this year's Dreamer and Doer. And then my dad was like, what the hell is this? And then I was like, I don't know, you know, they told me to write an essay, I'm not sure what this was. So then, as it turned out, I guess it was a good essay. I never read it again. But a few days after that, we started getting these letters from senators around Florida, and then a signed letter from the White House and the vice president. Like, what is this? Hello? Yeah. But, you know, I mean, a week after that, the irony of it was the big ceremony. And I don't know whether I told you what the Dreamers and Doers Award was. It's an award that's given by Walt Disney. He made that award up to honor distinguished students. So every student from every county gets awarded this award, and there's a huge ceremony that comes with it. So I got the day off from school, and I got to attend this wonderful ceremony at Disney World, and was very proud. I mean, that's some transition. You know, I was afraid, but then I ended up there. So I guess, like, the main highlight I would like to say is there's a very famous quote about one exit is an entrance somewhere else. So I transitioned well, and I came out okay. Thank you.